Part of me's thinking, do you know what I mean? I might just cut the first half of the video. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't find anything. Just cut that out. But then there's no lead up, is there? And that's like, you know, in the X Factor and those TV shows where they're like, and the winner is. And they leave it for like a really uncomfortable amount of time before announcing the winner. That's basically that. Where it's like, there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on. Hang on, there's a bucket load going on. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Walk. My name's Gareth and today I'm in the village of Unstone, which is just on the outskirts of Chesterfield in Derbyshire. I'm here to take a look at the former Midland Railway's Unstone Colliery Branch. So I'm going to take a trek, see what remains of the railway and the collieries that it used to serve. Now all of this lot, the whole shebang, was long gone by 1920, so whatever we find today is going to be hella old. Now straight away, my video's got a duck interrupting. Look at that. So this is Unstone Viaduct. Now on that is the Midland Main Line between Chesterfield and Sheffield. That was opened in 1870. But what we're more interested in, because I'm not walking on a live railway, is the one just on the other side that isn't here anymore. Right, so I'm going to use the viaduct to kind of amplify my voice. If I get Google Earth up, this is where I'm going to try and start, round about Unstone Sidings and what was Unstone Junction. I'm then going to come up to what was Unstone New Colliery. I'm going to follow it round to Unstone Main Colliery, and then I'm going to come across to something that was called Summerley Colliery. Now at that point, there was a tramway that went up into Unstone North Colliery, so I'm going to see what I can find of that. Look at that, what an incredible structure. Mate, the Victorians didn't muck about. They did not muck about. Okay, so I'm going to stop being distracted by a viaduct, although it is amazing. I'm going to come round to try and get as close as I can, because obviously this is an active line, and it's not just any old active line, this is the main line, so these trains are thundering up and down here. So it's obviously well fenced off, as it should be. Now what I'm going to try and do is locate the branch line as it came off, and then I'm going to try and stay as true to that as I possibly can. So there you go, there's the viaduct. And there's that huge embankment. Now, if you just look here, we've kind of got a bit of a triangle, and suddenly we've got another embankment. So my money is on this being the start of that branch line. So I'm going to climb up, get on that, and then we'll get stomping and see what we can find of these many collieries. Now, from what I could find, there was basically 6, but I'm pretty sure there's only sort of 3 that are kind of visible, with visible remains. Now, what's quite strange about these collieries, maybe this is one hell of a hill, is that actually only 2 of them were deep mines, you know, that went down into the ground. The others were something called a drift mine or an adit mine, so they basically went into the hill. So at least it means I can't fall down a shaft. I can fall down a bank though. Here we go. This is seriously moving. Look at that. This feels like it's going to be long. I could be here all day. Right, I'm going to carry on. That's still going. Right, I think I am on the branch line, you know. But that looks like it, doesn't it? That's in line there with the main line. Right, okay. Well, I hope I'm right, because I'm going to follow it. So this series of collieries that we're going to try and find today, they were opened by the Unstone Coal and Coke Company in 1868, then 1869, then another one in the 1870s. But actually, they'd already sold them by the 1880s, early 1880s. And in fact, one of them, the first one we're going to come to, was actually sold by them in 1872. So it was only under their leadership for, you know, 3 or 4 years. Now I've backed the right horse, so that's where I've come from. Oh, mate, that's a fox. see that, legging it? Mate. So there we go, look, we've got crossing gates. So this road or farm access or whatever was obviously there all those years ago as well. So there's your track bed. And here you go again, look, more gates. I mean, judging by the width of that, I'm guessing it's just a footpath gate. But there we go, we've got railway remains. So, not a bad start. So from what I could manage to find about this Unstone Coal and Coke Company, was they basically got sued a lot, or the equivalent, what would have been the Victorian equivalent of being sued, because I think they cut corners. Now whether that was to do with finances, I'm not sure, but they cut a lot of corners, which led to a lot of injuries and a lot of potential death. And so they ended up getting fined, having to pay a hell of a lot of money. So I think their reason for selling up was basically, you know, they were struggling financially. Now I thought these were spoil heaps, because I'm looking at that and I know there's a colliery in the vicinity, and I'm looking around and I'm seeing, look at the colour here of the ground. You know, that's colliery related. That's going to be, you know, coke spoil basically. But this first colliery we're coming to, which was the second one they built, known as Unstone New Colliery, that was a drift mine. I nearly fell over then. That was a drift mine. So what I'm looking for now, as I'm on the track bed, very muddy track bed, is basically an adit, a way in to the hill. So I don't know if you can hear, the river is flowing quite heavy down there, and there's actually a mill in this area. At least there was a mill. I think it's a private house now. But yeah, the sound of the water is amazing. It's had to compete with sirens because we're not that far out of Chesterfield. But you can hear that. It's you know, pretty aggressive river, that. Okay, now I think that's private, annoyingly, because it's someone's house. But I'm looking, because this is basically where the colliery was. So as I say, there's your track bed, straight through there. You can see it. They've lined it with plants, I think, but that goes into someone's house. That's private property, and it's obviously telling us we can go left or we can go right. Annoyingly, we can't go straight on. So, right, I'm eyes peeled then, because it's here somewhere. I'm going to actually clamber up. Because obviously the colliery is going to be to the side of it. It's not going to be on the railway, obviously, because that would make zero sense. And it's a drift mine, so it's going to be in these hills. Now, judging by the age of this gate, I mean, it looks old, doesn't it? I'm wondering then if this is obviously an ancient footpath. In fact, I'll have a look on old maps. It's almost certainly a footpath then. That's the great thing you see about these public rights of way, is they've been the public right of way for centuries. So when you look on old maps, you can generally find exactly where you are, and then obviously then compare that to where the infrastructure was. There we go, look. You've got a structure, and if you look at what we've got here. So this is the site of the colliery. It's just seeing what remains we can find. Is that stonework there? Let's have a look. I'm not sure if that's stonework or whether that's just like, you know, do you know what I mean, natural rock. But that could well have been the way in. I think that's the entrance to the colliery, you know. I think that's the drift mine here, and they filled that in. They filled that in. That could well be the way in. It looks like it. Yeah, we've got stonework, look. There's a wall there of something, and it's pretty thick. I think that's probably a building. There's probably a building here, and all that's left now. And again, that could be another way in, because this is what it would look like. You know, if anyone's watched some of the videos where we've gone in to lead mines and stuff, this is what the adits look like. They look exactly like that. Just inconspicuous, but that's the way into the side of the hill. Now I think I might have got my sums wrong there, you know, because I'm actually in Ramshaw Wood. Now Ramshaw had a colliery of its own called Unstone Colliery, which is really, really old and went really, really early, and it was another drift mine, another adit. I'm wondering if that's what that was, and that actually I'm yet to come to the Unstone New Colliery. We'll soon find out, because the mill, it's now a house, the mill is there, and it was by the side of that, so I'm going to get back down as close as I can to the track bed and see what we can find. That could have been just walking around for no reason, that. But there's definitely stuff going on. Look, you can see, here we go, look, you can see brickwork. There's some old brickwork there. There's some brickwork there as well. Now you can see people have obviously been in here, but I don't know if this is private or not because yeah, it could be their garden, couldn't it? I don't want to be doing that. But there's definitely some structures in there. You can kind of just make them out. Look down there. You see underneath that tree, you've got their coke ovens. 100% they're coke ovens, they are. Mate, I just can't get to them because, you know, this is someone's house and I'm not doing that. And I would suggest their ovens there as well. You see that brickwork there? Mate, what a sickener. Well, I say a sickener. You know, we located the colliery and I could see with my naked eye those coke ovens. I'm hoping you can make them out on the camera, but obviously that's someone's gaff. And I always think it's slightly different, do you know what I mean? If it's like, you know, council owned or something, but when it's someone's private home, they've got a football goal in the garden, so they've got kids, it's like I ain't traipsing around there. Okay, so the track bed goes off there in that direction. I'm gonna come off the line here and just skirt across a field because if I can work out how to use a gate, wow. It actually becomes impassable in a second with just like stupid brambles. Now when I get to the other side of that, that's where the real remains start because I could see from Google Earth there's a bridge there and some other bits and bobs, so it's disappointing not to get, you know, a better view of those coke ovens and those colliery buildings, but the fact they're still there, and actually hopefully if they're in someone's gaff, they're more likely to be saved, do you know what I mean? Because they're not going to get, you know, graffitied and, you know, set alight and all sorts. Although to be fair, setting a light to a coke oven shouldn't damage it, should it, given what it did? Quite an embankment, isn't it? Now I don't know if that's been reprofiled or whether that's spoil. It's been dragged out of the pit. And it comes around here and basically goes through that house. So if I follow this up and onto the road, we should get some bridge remains. Now, as I said, these particular pits were drift mines. But having said that, if you look on old maps from the late 1800s, just on the other side of that tree line, which is the old colliery line, just on the other side of that, there are some old shafts, which I'm guessing are, you know, capped off and grassed over and stuff. Well, I hope they are. Okay, so we've got another hill. I don't know how many hills that is today. Enough. Now, as you can see at the top, there's the bridge. There's the remains of the bridge as the line went under. But what's quite weird is when you look at old maps, that's been moved, which I find quite strange. Why you do that? I mean, I'm glad they've done it rather than just bulldoze it. But if I come up, so there's your bridge, all filled in, obviously. Now, when you come to the other side of the road, your bridge is over there. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not happening. Now, that's private property. That tree line is the railway, which means the bridge, if you follow it, there's the tree line. Colliery's just through there that we couldn't quite get to see, and it's come here. So this is the right one. This is in line. So I've got, I'm panting again. So that bit of brickwork there from the bridge was originally there. Get out of the way before I get run over. So I'm going to clamber down there, and then I am going to get back on that track bed. And at that point, it becomes something called the Unstone Line, which is a Derbyshire County Council run, you know, pathway, a proper pathway and bridleway. So there we go, there's the other side of it. And you can see by the width of it, this is just a little single line, a mineral line coming across, and the pathway starts there. You can hear that main line again, you can hear the trains going. Now what this line did, if you look at the map, it came off at Unstone Junction, where we tried to find the entrance to the line, and then it skirted off, went through these collieries, and then it went back onto that same line, so it was kind of like a bit of a loop, really. What I'm going to follow here, oh Jesus, someone's coughing their guts up, is an entrance to this wooded area. Now this wooded area is what was Unstone Main Colliery, so the biggest of the bunch. And they're basically, the colliery was in here. Mate, we're in. We are in. So this is going to be a coke oven, the top of a coke oven. Obviously this is all infilled. Drag that out and you've got yourself an oven there. Now that little coke oven might not seem like much, because it's not that much, but when you think that this colliery closed in the year 1900, that's pretty cool, and there's loads more here. Here we go, we've got more stonework, more brickwork, Mate, okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now, let me get up there. Ooh. Mate, ow, it's whacked me head. Look at that. Abandoned 125 years ago. I love that there still remains. What is that? Is that stonework? Sorry, that's ironwork. Hang on, yeah. Stonework, what am I talking about? That is. So these would have been some kind of oven, I bet you, as well. Mate, trees just going, yeah, I'll live here, thanks. Oh, mate, so this is the inside of a building, I reckon. Although that is a pretty smooth end, to be fair. But it feels like it, doesn't it? That feels like a building. Now what's here? Here we go, here's more. Now that's collapsed. There's another coke oven. Look at that, mate. And there you go, look, even more. Look at the size of that stonework there. Now that's railway related, that is. 100%. Now what we got here? That's some ironwork. Although I've got to say that kind of looks modern. But this isn't. Now, this, the reason I say it looks railway related is that coping stone there. That looks like that's a railway coming over the top. Now, it could well have been, because actually what I'm walking here isn't actually the railway line. The railway line's up the top there, so I'm wondering if there was, you know, a little branch coming off into a siding or two, because this would have been, you know, all railways, all buildings, all coke ovens, the lot. Oh, mate. Or, you know, these could have been sidings here and that could have been loading into wagons. Awesome, that. I got told off the other week, actually, after my walk in Wales, for keep saying, oh, mate. I get it's probably annoying, but I get excited. So coke ovens. Fly in a greenhouse. I've spotted something else. Here we go. Now I am going to be quite conscious, because this particular mine, this Unstone. Here we go. Okay, there's a road up there then. Right. So this is just a retaining wall then, probably, rather than actually a wall of the colliery. Although saying that, it could have been on the top, couldn't it? These could be the foundations. People could have been working in here, and it could have had the walls up there and people going in and out and onto the road. So coke ovens. Basically what they did is they take the coal out of the ground, they chuck it in the coke oven, burn it, and that would basically separate the gas and the water and the coke, and that was used to basically make steel, essentially. I'm not quite sure of the process. People watching this far more educated than me on that might know the answer. Now there's a path up there onto the road. Here we go. Sections of tramway track in unusual places. I reckon that's what that was then. So we've looked at that, a bit overgrown, and we've seen all this stuff here. Now let's have a look here then. So this is what it looked like. Oh wow, incredible. In fact, I reckon it's that. I reckon that, because this is, what's this? Yeah, okay, so that's the mills. So that's going to be down there on the river, because obviously that's exactly where you'll have a mill. This will be the railway, and there is that big retaining wall that's there, and these are those buildings then. So yeah, that's how it was, mate. Amazing. Ruins of an old engine shed. So maybe that's what that was then. Now in a second there should be remains of a tramway, and in fact I think that's it. So this is the site of the colliery, right? This is the Unstone Main Colliery. Now there is a tramway. Now, like I said earlier, this was a deep mine, which means there's mine shafts about, so I'm going to try and avoid falling in them. See, here's a wall, there's a wall, and they go up like that, which makes me think this is that. Yeah, that's an incline. So up there, past those miners' cottages, it goes all the way up into the trees there, and that went up an incredibly steep incline, about a mile. up to a place called Unstone Colliery. And what they were doing is they were dragging the coal out of that colliery and bringing it down here and into those coke ovens, obviously where they, you know, burn it to make steel, basically. Now here we go. Got even more now. Is that just a retaining wall? Could possibly be, but it opens up here, which makes me think you would have had quite a lot of sidings. This could be an engine shed. It said on that board, didn't there, that there was remains of an engine shed. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've got all this going on with the colliery, and this does open up, you can see it clearly opens up, there's the main line. That makes sense, doesn't it? Have an engine shed tucked away, and that's where you'd, you know, store it. Of course, I'm theorising loads of this, multiple reasons. One being the fact that I'm only here because my car needed a service. So I brought my car to Chesterfield and I quickly Googled. I was like, you know, is there a railway walk? Because I don't want to sit in Starbucks for like 4 hours. So I'm like, is there a railway walk? And there was one a couple of miles away. So that's why I come and did this. So it's like quite a quick study. What can I find? Now, when it comes to collieries, I normally go to 1 or 2 sites. The Durham Miners site's very good. Mine Dat's very good. But it's difficult with this one because I looked at the Derbyshire Council website, they told me certain dates, then I looked at Mine Dat, they told me certain dates, and then I looked at the Durham Miners page and they told me certain dates in terms of opening, closing, selling, being sunk, whatever, and none of them were the same. None of them were the same. So I've got 3, you know, I mean, flip a coin, mate. So it's one of them, because I guess they closed so long ago, it's hard to kind of get definitive answers. And even when it comes to this railway, so that main line over there, that was opened in 1870. Now, because these collieries came in the late 1860s, early 1870s, you would imagine that this line was built at the same time. But from what evidence I could find of that, it was that this line was actually built in the early 1880s, which would mean that these collieries were sat here for over 10 years, not being served by the railway, which seems bizarre to me. Okay, so there's the track bed. Now it's all flooded, so they've put like some special flooring down. Oh, mate, I nearly stacked it. Now, there's something going on here. Now I'm gonna get all the way here. And it's gonna have just jarred my knee as well. I'm gonna get all the way here and it's gonna be nothing, but something's going on there. It feels like a structure because I can see that ivy is hanging off something, isn't it? Now here's a pond. Right, I'm basically just walking through a pond now. Okay, this has not gone well. The things you do for a YouTube channel. Oh mate, that's okay, that's a bog. Right, I've gone right up to my ankle. Oh, didn't like these shoes anyway. But there we have it. Okay, mate, it's worth it, it's worth it. These are gonna be more of these ovens, almost certainly. Although it kind of looks like a bridge, doesn't it? The arches, but there's nothing here that would require a bridge. So no, they're ovens. Okay, oh mate, I could have come that way, couldn't I? Mate, what a donut. Wow. Right, I don't even care that I've got muddy feet. I'm gonna have to get a taxi in a bit back to where my car is, so sorry cab driver in advance. Look at that. Now if we come in here, oh mate, it's got a stone floor on that. A couple of cans of Stella as well. The Eye of Ra, obviously. Or is it the Eye of Horus? I always get those two mixed up. Oh, mate. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Oh, mate, 125 years. Just sat there. That's incredible. And it's a really nice walkable path as well back to the railway. Hang on. There's more going on here as well. Look at this. Mate, what have we got? Barbecue by the look of it. I wonder what this was. Loads of stonework, look at that. A bit of ironwork hanging off as well. I mean, I'm guessing now, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't got a Scooby what this is. I just know it's hella old. And that's amazing. So there was a lot of build up, wasn't there? A lot of build up. So we went into Ramshaw Wood. I'm pretty sure we saw the entrance into the colliery, but you know, it weren't much to look at. Then we couldn't get into Unstone New Colliery because it was in someone's garden, and I was starting to get somewhat dejected. But the main colliery definitely delivered. Definitely delivered. Amazing. Now, that main colliery was opened in 1868. And like I said earlier, it was gone by 1900. So none of these collieries had long lives, not at all. So here we go. Ramshaw, I called it Rawshaw a second ago. Ramshaw Colliery, right. Drift, I think we saw that. I really do think we saw that. That's the one that was in someone's house. That's the one that we saw so much. 77 coke ovens, jeez. No wonder there's some left. Now, Summerley Colliery, this is where we are now. Basically, so what we're going to do, see what we can find of that in this little area. And then I'm going to try and follow a little tram line up to that one. Now this one here, this is all an industrial estate, so I'm going to try and see what I can see. Now we've not seen this yet, I've not seen a robin yet, and I've definitely not seen that yet. Okay, so that basically says in this area, which is, you know, disconcertingly vague, and it doesn't actually tell us, where those remains are, so I guess I'm just going to walk around like a donut and see if I can find something. So just through there, that was that sign that was telling me there's structures but not actually telling me where they are. Now the public footpath goes off there, but this is the track bed. Now I've just had a look on side-by-side maps, and I've looked at a map from 1914, and it tells me this is where the structures are for Summerley Colliery. God, me fell over. Now this colliery was a deep mine, and it was sunk in 1871, but it was closed, depending on who you believe, what website, in the early 1880s. So no life whatsoever, really. You know, 10 years, maybe 12, 13 years, and that's it. Now I don't know why. There's a lot of collieries around this area. Maybe they just took the seam, I don't know, but okay, we've got structures. Oh, mate, now I'm watching where I'm treading, because as I say, this was a deep mine, this wasn't a drift mine. Wow, look at that oven. Mate, look at that. That's epic. That is epic. It's a totally different shape, isn't it, to the others? Completely different. You see it's kind of, well, it's burnt, like it's glazed. The bricks. Here we go, got another one here. Oh mate, it's another one. Look how deep that one goes. Yeah, let me get my torch. Because that has still got this bit in place. That bit is well open, that one. But this is obviously how it would have looked. Oh mate, look at it. Look at the size of that. Mate. Oh, that's incredible. I keep saying mate, sorry. I am stoked by this. Fire, stoked. I am, honestly, like, we started off slow, but we've started the party now. Here's another one. Don't worry, I won't show you every single one once you've seen one, but oh mate, I jarred my knee earlier and it hurts, but it's definitely worth it for this. Look at that in the ceiling. Oh mate, yeah, party started now, well and truly. Absolutely incredible. Now, here's another one. They are all absolutely identical. There's another one, absolutely tons of them. This is incredible. I mean, it goes on. As far as I can see, one after the other, one after the other. Look at these kilns. Now, these ovens were also used for making brick. Oh yeah, look. They've had to put some structural support in there, look, in these ones. Yeah, because they're going to come down, unfortunately. Oh, mate, that'll be lost history. Gutted. At least we've got to document it, though. There's more stonework and brickwork there, so there would have been buildings. Oh, mate. What have we got here? Now, there were some buildings. This is incredible. So this would have been exactly what it looked like then, the whole way down. So the first kiln, that was basically way open, and then you could see they were slightly more closed off. Now this is what they would have all looked like. Again, trees don't play games, do they? Man, this is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And you can see this is the railway cutting. This would have been banks and banks of wagons all getting loaded up. They've been loading in the top of these and then pulling them out into the wagons and off to build the houses of Derbyshire. Look at that one. That's in great nick. Mate, I don't even care. I'm just gonna keep saying mate now. Oh, mate, I'm like a kid in the toy shop. This is amazing. Right, I'm gonna get inside one of these ones now, because these are, you know, exactly as they would have been. Oh, look at that. Oh, mate. Utterly incredible. Part of me's thinking, do you know what I mean? I might just cut the first half of the video. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't find anything. Just cut that out. But then there's no lead up, is there? And that's like, you know, in the X Factor and those TV shows where they're like, and the winner is. And they leave it for like a really uncomfortable amount of time before announcing the winner. That's basically that. Where it's like, there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on. Hang on, there's a bucket load going on. So that's the final one. Now, this looks like the end of the line, which makes me think maybe the track bed's up there actually, and here were just some sidings for these structures. Now, oh mate, hang on, there's more the other side, what? What is going on? So this I thought was a stream, but I tell you what, I bet these would have been tracks as well, mate. This structure's huge. It's enormous. So every one we've gone in on the other side, it's got a brother or a sister the other side, look. Now these would have been steps, I bet, to get up and over the top of it. Wow. Wow. Right, we're at the end now. I just came all the way down. I wasn't going to go in each one because they're exactly the same, obviously. But I came down just in case, you know, we'd missed something that was totally different, but we haven't. This is it, mate. Honestly, I'm so happy with that. I'm buzzing. That's amazing. I didn't know this was here, and that is incredible. And actually, I swear, those pictures on that board didn't do anything like justice to this at all. Okay. Whew, and breathe. Right, I'm gonna follow the track bed then up to that tram line, which, if I just show you this old map from 1914, again, you'll see that tram line going up into the North Unstone Colliery. I don't know if there's any remains of that, so I might end on a damp squib, but I ain't even bothered now after that. Computer says no at the minute, but I ain't quitting. Right, I'm in. That wasn't pleasant, that wasn't comfortable. There's bits of me that hurt that I didn't even know I had bits of. Okay, now there's loads of stonework. So, what would have been here from looking at the map, and the fact that I've got a branch in my hair. I've got another branch in my hair. What is going on? The gradient of that tramway makes me think that there must have been an engine house here, because there's no way you'd have got a locomotive up here. So there must have been an engine house pulling. Now you'd imagine that engine house would be at the top, to be fair, but there were structures here. Hang on a minute. We've got a drop-off point there. Look at those bits of rail there, can you see them? Now, that's standard gauge. So they are dropping off onto something here, onto wagons here, maybe then to go up. And this is where the buildings were. Now they don't remain, but that does, and that's a result. Okay, so Unstone Main Colliery gave us a few gifts. Summerley Colliery has literally been like Oprah Winfrey, just handing them out. Now, I'm not convinced that Unstone North Colliery is going to be quite so generous, because this tramway is completely impassable. Completely impassable. I'm stung to bits, mate. There's literally no way of getting up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump out, I'm going to get in the field and then walk to the top and see if there's any remains once I get up there. Right, I can't get on the tramway. I've cut myself a bit. I've managed to rip my jacket, and I'm pretty sure I might have a thorn lodged in the top of my head. But yeah, I can't get on it. So, send the drone up. If you see that kind of tapers off into like a sort of a bit of an arrow, that's where the colliery was, that's where the North Colliery was. But I can't get to it. Oh mate, I'm bleeding. Anyway, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I didn't enjoy the end too much, but I enjoyed the rest of it. Hope you did. And as always, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. I'll see you next time.